Welcome, family. Welcome. Welcome to the live feed. Welcome to the family. Welcome to the family. Welcome, everybody. Welcome. Just want to build with you all. Chop it up with you all about things, man. Let the truth be known to the people and families of the earth as the truth is being unfolded in this time, in this season. So y'all come on in. Naz, what's going on? Shalom Aleichem to you, my brother. Shalom Aleichem. So y'all hop on in. Let's have a discussion. You know, we in the age, man, like you if you're fooled, if you fall for the traps, if you fall for the trickery, it's because you wanted to. I'm gonna say it again. We in a time where if you falling for the traps, you falling for the trickery, it's because you wanted to. We in a time of information. Now don't get me wrong. All information ain't good information. And all good information ain't for everybody. So I'm really just talking to those who have an ear to hear, who have eyes to see, and understand the times that we in, man. And it's gonna be knowledge of the Creator and knowledge of self that's really gonna allow you to stand the test of time in these seasons. And you gotta apply the principles, the moral laws, the universal laws, whatever you want to call it, in thy life for you to survive what's about to come to this earth. So I really want to talk to you all because we clearly know that there's a biological plot going on. We clearly know that there's a chemical warfare, there's food warfare, there's psychological warfare, there's spiritual warfare. And we have to wake up to the fact that we are in the midst of the war, and we are the ones that people or nations are warring against in many different ways. And it is our duty as a people to prepare ourselves for war. It's a duty to prepare ourselves for war. It's our duty to equip ourselves for what we need to do to fight in this war, family. It is our duty. So we have to, for us to prepare for a war, we got to know what are they doing to wage war against us. And one of the major weapons that they have utilized against us is food. Another weapon of warfare is psychological warfare, using imagery, logos, right? And so we have to learn in warfare, you got to learn how to counteract. No different if you ever did boxing, Muay Thai, jiu-jitsu, whatever form of art of warfare that you've ever done. You know that you have to always have a plan on how to counteract the enemy and how to counteract any action. And so why am I saying that? Because a lot of the times, because we're ignorant of knowledge, we're falling for the traps of our enemies, like the pharmaceutical company, right? Like the medical fields, who literally thrive off us being sick. And if you're sick, that means you don't have the strength to fight. And so I'm here to tell y'all, because a lot of the things that y'all think is going on with y'all for the worst is really the best thing to have happen to you, like a fever. A lot of people don't understand what a fever is. And so today I really want to talk to y'all about a healing crisis. What is a healing crisis? You know, what is these things, these symptoms that I'm going through, right? And so I'm teaching y'all this. I want to share this with y'all because a lot of y'all don't realize that you're self-inflicting yourself due to your ignorance of thyself. Like I mentioned before, we're talking about a healing crisis. We're talking about a fever. Now, what is a fever? A fever is spiked in the body, right? It's a chemical released in the body to help actually burn off a lot of the toxins, the heavy metals, right? Bad bacteria. It's there to actually spike heat in your body to burn out all the infirmities in you, right? And what happens with this is this. your mucosa membrane. Your mucosa membrane is your first line of defense when it comes to the body. So what it does is it spews out this mucus, this liquid substance. It spews out this liquid substance so that it can actually help the body cool down at first. It's actually a coolant, right? And so anytime that coolant or that system, the mucosa membrane, and its job is not functioning, your body goes into self-defense mode by sending this chemical out to spike something called a fever, to help burn out and help burn out the infirmities in you. So the doctors have taught us that a fever is bad. The doctors have taught us that a fever is a sickness within itself, when really the fever is not a sickness. It's really a self-defense against the body. And not only that, it's nothing but a reaction for the action. So they're teaching you all suppressive therapy to suppress the very defense mechanism in the body, but they're not teaching you all how to fight against the very reason why you got the fever in the first place. So we have to understand the difference between real sickness and disease and a healing crisis. A fever is a healing crisis. Diarrhea is an emergency healing crisis. You understand that? You having a snotty nose is a healing crisis. You vomiting is a healing crisis, because it is your body ejecting out this acid, this toxins, this bad bacteria, these heavy metals, this waste that you're not able to filtrate through your kidneys by way of urine, or filtrate through the anus by way of defecation. So when you're having trouble pooping, or when you're having trouble urinating, your body goes through things like, for example, the whole point of the fever is to cause you to sweat, because if you could sweat, that means you're able to release the toxins, or release the sickness, or release the acid outside of your pores. This is the whole reason they even came up with the whole sauna. The sauna is nothing but a reflection of a fever within the body. If it causes you to sweat, it will cause you to detox the toxins and heavy metals and bad bacteria out the body. You see what I'm saying? So we got to understand the difference. Believe it or not, pimples is not only a reflection that you're sick, but it's a reflection that your body's trying to push out the sickness. That does not mean that the pimple itself is sick, but it's a reflection that something very acidic is going in the body, and your body, by way of your skin, is trying to push out. So that's why when you pop a pimple, the first thing you will see is what? Mucus, or what you would call pus. That does not mean that the crisis itself is the sickness. It's just a reflection that you're sick. A fever is a reflection that you're sick, but that does not mean the fever itself is a reflection is the sickness itself. It's actually there to help you sweat, because you're not pooping enough, and you're constipated. You having your cells dehydrated, and your kidneys are starting to have an issue, so you're not filtrating correctly. So you go through these healing crises to release. Your skin is also a way of releasing and protecting at the same time. So I'm having this conversation because a lot of us really we misunderstand what our body is going through, and that's due to miseducation. And so there's a way that you deal with this. Why am I saying that? Because you know that you're sick, right? But because of your ignorance, you're trying to attack the fever and not asking yourself, why did I get the fever? What caused the fever? So then you go to your CVS's, you go to your Walgreens, you go to your medical fields, your doctors, and you ask them for medicine, and they're giving you things to suppress the very thing there to help you and not help you eliminate the problem itself. So the reason you have to understand is because if you could understand or identify what a real healing crisis is, you'll no longer sit there and think this is sickness. You'll realize, oh, my body is going into a self-defense mechanism called a healing crisis, because it's warning me that I'm sick. Let me go find out what the sickness is, so then I will know how to attack it. You understand that? Everybody understand that? So we got to be more alert and aware of what we're doing, because we're trying to lean on them to help us, not realizing that they're there literally to make money off our sickness, but two, that they really don't have the formula to help you. They don't have the formula to help you. But you know who do? Your ancestors. Your ancestors understood dis-ease in the body. Your ancestors understood imbalance in the body. Your ancestors understood how to truly holistically heal the body and not suppress the body or colonize the body. See, the problem why you keep leaning on your enemy to help you is because you don't know how to help you. You're sick spiritually, you're sick psychologically, and you're sick physically. And so you're leaning on the very person who created a construct or an environment that will be conducive to their benefit and riches and will be inducive to you thriving. And so you are falling for the foolery. You are falling for the tricks. You've been bamboozled and hoodwinked. And so this is why you don't see a major increase of the black community healing, because we're not healing the proper way. Our ancestors knew if you had a flu, like, beautiful thing being in Cleveland, I get to talk to my elders and those, older in the family. You kind of get to hear their stories. A lot of the times in the 50s and 60s and even 70s, when it was time to go into a new season, a lot of our elders and ancestors, they would take black castor oil, which is a herb. It's a herb in oil form. They knew how to prepare for the season by way of natural remedies. We're sitting here taking Tylenol, Benadryl, and all these different things, so thinking that we're being healed because we feel good for a temporary moment, and we may have calmed down the very symptom that's there to help us, called a fever, and thinking that we're good. But then every 2 weeks we're sick again. You see that? We have to unlearn and relearn really how to deal with ourselves, heal ourselves, educate ourselves, and rebuild ourselves, restore ourselves. We are literally killing ourselves due to misinformation. And if you want to see a change in the community, you got to change yourself. You got to change how you think. You got to change how you eat. You got to change what you watch. You got to change what you listen to, because that's truly what holistic health is. It's not just dealing with food. Believe it or not, a lot of sicknesses is caused just due to stress, because you're in a stressful environment. You working at 9, you getting up before the sun come up, and you getting off work by the time the sun's down. You ain't got time for yourself. You always in a rush. You always in a fight or flight. When do you actually have time to let your body rest? You never do. And then you add this acidic mucus forming food on top of it, which creates more chaos in the body. And then you're adding stimulants to it by way of coffee or these energy drinks that don't bring no vitality to the cells, but it actually dehydrates the cells and drains the cells. And then you in bad relationships that's not conducive to you. You in neighborhoods that's literally getting over polluted by chemtrails, by trash in the streets, by chaos, murders. When do you really have time or a space to heal? And you haven't even realized that was created on purpose for you to deal with. But of course, because you're buying into a system that was literally created to keep you oppressed, depressed, and suppressed, you can't even see and figure out why you sick still. We're believing in radiation. We're believing in chemotherapy. We're letting them take our thyroids and parathyroids out, and really thinking that that's going to really benefit our life, and wondering why we still sick. It's because we're confused on really how to bring holistic health and balance and peace and harmony into our life. And we use food as a mechanism to cope with the stress and acidic environment that's been created for us. We use liquor, we use weed, we use sex, we use sugary food, we use sweets and candies to try to suppress and cope with the environment, and when we get that temporary happiness, we think all things are fine after that. And we end up paying for it later. You see that? And so a sister said, being Jamaican, I can attest to that. My parents said anytime school started, they all had to take all these different herbs before going back. You see that? Right? And we know that the school system is not good for us, but even our parents, if they had to send us to school, they prepared us the right way. And we're wondering why a lot of us, we're creating these degenerative children, these degenerative cells within our children, and we're becoming weaker by the generation because we're passing on these degenerative cells, these sick cells, these traumatized cells down to our children. And now they have a weaker immune system than the last generation. They have a weaker immune system than the last generation. Their thoughts are not as balanced as the last generation, because we're passing on this trauma, and rather than them receiving peace, receiving love, receiving stress-free environments, we're giving them all our trauma, and they're worse off. So we got to do better, family. We got to understand what we are, who we are, and why we are. Your body don't go into this natural defense mechanism for no reason. You don't catch and let me get that word out of my vocabulary, because you can't catch a fever. Your body doesn't release a fever-like symptom for no reason. Your body does not release pimples for no reason. Your body does not go through a diarrhea effect for no reason. It's trying to warn you and tell you that you need to heal and that you are imbalanced. But you're so indoctrinated into this society, this American culture, this deaf culture, that you're willing to go to the executor just not to feel it no more, rather than going back to the path of the ancestors to heal. So we got to wake up and understand what true healing is, what we're going through when we go through these things, like a fever, like diarrhea, like pimples, like vomiting, and realize that's just our body talking to us, telling us we need to detox. We need to heal. We need to get back in balance, because clearly you, in your state of mind, don't have balance. So that's all I really wanted to come on here and talk to y'all about, is stop thinking that everything's a sickness. You may be in dis-ease, that's a fact. But it's not sickness, it's just your body warning you. Or even when you're going through your healing, when you detox it, these are the symptoms that you will go through. So, because I'll have people who detox it, and the minute they get a fever, the minute they get lightheaded, the minute they legs get weak, or they start to have these outbreaks, they thinking everything is going to shit. They thinking everything is wrong. Oh, this is not working. No, that's a sign that your body is working on a functional level, and it's detoxing like crazy. But because you have stagnated your lymphatic system, because you have stagnated your kidneys, because you have stagnated your living gallbladder, because you have stagnated and clogged up your colon, these are the only ways your body can help you release. So this is what a healing crisis is. A fever is not sickness. It's a healing crisis. Vomiting is not a sickness. It's a healing crisis. You having pimples is not a sickness. It's a healing crisis happening. And it's a crisis because your body is warning you that you either need to cleanse, or if you're already cleansing, it's telling you that it's working. So if we know better, family, we can do better. You got to educate thyself to know thyself. And once you know yourself, you can release yourself from the trauma, the pain, and the terror of your enemies. So that's all I wanted to come on here for, man. I appreciate y'all logging in, tapping in with me. If y'all got any questions, let me know. I got like 1 minute. We good. And I appreciate the sister who shared her comment about, because Jamaicans are very intelligent when it comes to healing. Jamaicans are very, very intelligent. They understand nature. They understand how to heal ourselves. So definitely appreciate that, you sharing that testimony. So that's it, family. I appreciate y'all. We're going to talk soon. Peace.